Havencraft. Pegasus Delahan. When this follower comes into play, restore 2 defense to all other allied followers. Yeah, that's not the important part. What's the important part is last words. Give a allied countdown amulet last words. Summon a Pegasus Delahan. So, this card just is gonna be that card just does not die unless you banish it. It's gonna be super annoying and yeah. Havencraft. Woo! Am I right? Summit Temple. If another allied Summit Temple is in play, draw a card and destroy this amulet. Whenever an allied Havencraft follower attacks, that follower deals damage equal to its defense until the end of turn. So it's like basically the 0/6 one that makes everyone attack with their defense. That one. But oh, sorry, I wasn't done talking about the card. But yeah, it's like that, but more survivable because it's an amulet, and if you play multiple copies, you get to draw cards, which is cool. So yeah, that's a thing. And this is a 6-drop, 4/6. Last words, put a temple summit temple into your hand. Nope, I actually went over Pure Annihilation. Not sure I did, but I'll go over it once again really quickly. Choose an enemy follower, banish it, and all enemy followers of the same name. Hungering Horde. I'm pretty sure I went over it. I'm sorry if I go over cards that I already went over. I just want to make sure that I've gone through all of them. God Scales Banquet. Fanfare. Enhance 5. Subtract 3 from this amulet's countdown. Summon 2 white snakes. I fucks with this really hard because you can either play this turn 5 or you can play it like turn 2 and it'll come out pop turn 5. I'm here for it. Oh, excuse me. Ugh, I like that option a lot. Oath Plume Warrior. 4/3. Subtract 1 from the amulet of a countdown. Subtract 1 from the countdown of an allied amulet. So it's basically a nun. Sister Initiate or something like that. She's a 3/2 that does literally the same thing. Gemstone Carapace. When an allied follower evolves, subtract 1 from this amulet's countdown. Last words, summon a bejeweled tortoise. Because of the monster you get, it's not that good. This card I am here for. Ooh, I'm really excited about this. Featherfall Hourglass. Fanfare Enhance 3. Subtract 3 from this amulet's countdown. Summon a Time Owl. Time Owls are really cool for a 3-drop, if you ask me. So like I said, we just talked about all the things that you can summon with those 3 amulets. This is what they summon. This is the Bejeweled Tortoise. It's just a 3/5. Nothing impressive. Like, it has good stats, but it doesn't do anything outside of that. So it's like, eh. White Snake. You get 2 of them when you play that amulet, and they are both 2/2s with Bane. That's really good, in my opinion. And last but not least is a Time Owl, which is a 3/2 with Rush. That is pretty cool in my book, to have a 3/2 with Rush. So yeah, that's cool. Oh, we're almost there, guys. If this video ends up being hella long, I'm just gonna cut it into 2. It's not that big of a deal. Spinaria, Keeper of Enigmas. Excuse me, summon a Spinaria's artifact. When an allied artifact follower comes to play, that follower gains, at the end of the turn, deal 1 damage to random enemy follower. So this is a card that, in my opinion, you'd play probably towards more endgame. You wouldn't just use it right then and there. Unless you had another one, or unless you just had to play it. Its stats are pretty terrible, like attack-wise. Like, yikes, you're just two? Just two, really? Okay. Let's see. Yeah, it's not... It's good at late game just because when you play it with other artifacts, like I'm assuming they gain that ability, which is pretty broken, because then you have to clear all the you have to literally just clear the field of all the amulets, or else you're just kind of fucked. God Bullet Golem. 7/7/7. Can't attack the enemy leader, so I'm not really feeling it. But at the end of the turn, randomly destroy an allied artifact follower. Deal damage to enemy leader equal to that follower's cost. So that's pretty cool. I really don't like that you can't attack the enemy leader, but you can attack other things, so I guess that your artifacts can put more pressure. But you destroy an allied artifact follower. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. Once again, it's just one of those things I have to see if it's good in practice. Saphira, Synthetic Beast. For 6, cost 6, it has Rush. Fanfare enhance 10, evolve this follower, and this follower's attack is 0 until the end of the turn. This value equals the number of allied artifact cards destroyed during the match. And it has Storm when it evolves. So yeah, everyone, take a good look at the finishing card, because that's what that is. Literally just destroy all shit ton of artifact cards. And then you just play this at 10 and you kill your enemy. That's not broken. Otherworld Rift. I'm pretty sure I didn't talk about this one. Pretty simple. Banish an enemy follower and you get an artifact card from your deck into your hand. It's good stuff if you want to be more control-y. I'm here for it. Silver Cog Spinner. Restore 2 defense to your leader. If resonance is active for you, recover 1 play point. Literally, it's only good if you have an artifact in your hand on turn 4 or later in the game where you need like that extra play point to get off a combo. Other than that, it's not as good as the Manipulator. Like you play a Manipulator on turn 4. You don't play this on turn 4. Nil Potent Entity. Countdown 2. If there are any artifact cards in your hand, randomly discard 1 and add 2 to this amulet's countdown. So it'll become a countdown 4. Until this amulet leaves play, your leader cannot receive more than 3 damage at a time. Alright. So yeah. You just have an amulet there that just stops you from taking more than 3 damage. This is a pretty devastating late game amulet to play for your opponent. Amethyst Giant. If there are any artifact cards in your hand, randomly discard 1 and gain resistance to targeted enemy spells and effects. Can attack 2 times per turn. Alright. It would be nice if you had a ward, but you know what? And your attack stats aren't too great for a 9-drop. But I guess we're here. I'm not gonna use you at all, but we're here. Colossal Construct. 7-drop, 5/6. Deal 0 damage to an enemy follower. This value equals the remaining artifact cards in your deck. Oh, I thought this was I thought this value equaled the remaining, like the destroyed artifacts in the game. So I thought this card was really good because of that, but now it's like a lot less good. so Identified subject. I'm not sure if I went over this card. If I did, I'm sorry. 3/6. Whenever a card is put into your deck, gain +1/+0. I guess it has weak stats because you're supposed to bump it up. Rowan Winged Necks. 4-drop 3/4. When you evolve it, deal 3 damage to an enemy follower if Resonance is active for you. Yeah, I can see everyone like kind of using this card, just trying to get Resonance. Did I go over this one? Fervent Machine Soldier. I only put an artifact. Yeah, I think I went over this one. I did not go over Substitution, however. Banish an enemy follower 3 defense or less. Put a puppet into your hand. I think both Portalcraft decks would use this. Because you're banishing, and you get a 0/1/1 with Rush. I don't see a problem with this. Let's give Magisteel Puppet. It's a 2/2/2. So, and when you evolve it, you put 2 puppets into your hand. Oh, but it only becomes a 3/3. I guess, like, I understand why. Because it's like, okay, we can't just let you do all that cool stuff and then you have 2 free monsters you literally can play. I get it, but I don't like it because it just makes all actual followers seem really weak. With that being said, let's run along. Let's move on to Rosa, Mechwing Maiden. If Resonance is active, gain ward. So very much like the Imp. Is it an Imp? A 2-drop 1/4 in Bloodcraft deals 2 damage to you and whatnot. Machine Artisan Geno. Fanfare. If there are any artifact cards in your hand, randomly discard 1 and give your leader the following effect. Subtract 3 from the next source of damage dealt to your leader. So I like these cards because it seems like Portalcraft needs a hell of a lot of protection from shit in general. So cards like this and that other busted 1-drop one, I'm here for it. I think we talked about this. At the end of your turn, put 2 of the randomly following cards into your deck. Yeah, I think we talked about this one. Great 1-drop card. Meta Production. We didn't talk about this. Another good 1-drop. Put an analyzing artifact into your deck. At the end of your turn, draw a card. So it's literally like Insight, but even more broken. Airship Whale. 4/5, it costs 8, which is a lot. Put a random artifact follower that costs 3 play points or less from your deck into play. Replete once if Resonance is active for you. I would say people would run this, but everyone's gonna run the other 8-drop that, you know, can pings you for 4 if Resonance is active. That's just a lot better. Captain Matteo. If Resonance is active for you, gain +1 and ward. Once again, I don't like cards that, you know, that are useless if a certain thing isn't like fulfilled. So I'm not a huge lover of said card. Captain Matteo. Iron Forge Fighter. Put 2 Radiant artifacts in your deck. I don't remember me covering this card. Although I like the fact that it's a more offensive, card because it's 4/3 instead of 3/4. So I'm here for that. Mechanical Bowman. I really like this card. I think a lot of people are gonna use this card. Because if there are any artifact cards in your hand, randomly discard 1 and deal 2 damage to all enemy followers. Dude, this is turn 4 card. Everyone's gonna be running this. This is gonna be the 4-drop to run. Everyone. If you aren't running it, you need to run it. Autumn Maiden Knight. Maton Knight. Last words, put a puppet into your hand. It's okay. Cat Cannoneer. It's another 3/2, just like the other one, but has Rush and Fanfare. Put 2 ancient artifacts into your deck. That's pretty good. And the ancient artifacts, I believe, are 2/1s at Rush. Steel Demolitionist. If there are any artifacts in your hand, randomly discard 1 and deal 2 to a random enemy follower. If there are no enemy followers in play, deal 2 damage to the enemy leader instead. Pretty decent, but given the last card I just looked at and the next one, I don't think it's gonna be seeing a lot of play. Or maybe, I don't know, it depends. Maybe in a more aggro type of situation. We'll see. Iron Staff Mechanic. Ward. 3/3 ward. Fanfare. Put 2 Mystic Artifacts into your deck. And Mystic Artifacts are 3-drop 2/3s with ward, and when you play them you draw a card. So this is more offensive, and this is the more defensive version of each other. Both cool. Depends on your play style, I guess. Tranquil Cog. Oh, excuse me. My throat's starting to get hoarse, if you couldn't tell. It's a 3-drop amulet? Yes. If Resonance is active for you, draw 2 cards. If Resonance is not active for you, draw a card. Last words. If Resonance is active for you, draw a card. If Resonance is not active for you, draw 2 cards. You're just drawing a lot of cards. Will this card see a lot of play? I don't think so, because I'd rather just play an artifact and half of them make me draw cards. I'm not sure to talk about the Puppet Room, but just to cover my P's and Q's. Puppet Room, countdown 3, put a puppet into your hand. At the end of your turn, put a puppet into your hand. It's cool. You play this, you get a 0/1/1 with Rush. I'm okay with that. Puppeteer. Evolve. Put a puppet into your hand and give a random puppet in your hand Bane. Once again, it's like one of those things. I get it. You get a 0/1/1 creature, but do you have to make this a 2-drop? Like, you make it. It's like you're trying to balance it so hard that you're just making puppets weak, in my opinion. Dimension Cut is a 2-point spell. Deal 2 damage to an enemy follower. If Resonance is active for you, deal 4 instead. So it's very much like the 2-drop from whatchamacallit, from Shadowverse, Undying Resentment. So it's like that, essentially, just different requirements. Oops, did not mean to do that. Bear Puppeteer. Did I even look at this card? Enhance. Play for 4. Give it +1/+1. Put a puppet into your hand. I'd rather have this over the other one that gives you a Bane one. I don't know. That's like a little too defensive for my taste. This one's okay. Hamelin. It's a 2/2/1. Choose a follower in your hand, excluding Hamelin, that originally cost 3 play points or less. Put a copy of that follower into your hand. Interesting. Interesting. So you're probably playing this to make more copies of your whatchamacallit, of your tokens. Demon's Epitaph. It's 2/1, 2-drop. Fanfare. If there are any artifacts in your hand, discard 1 and gain Rush and Bane. Wow. Wow. Wow, that's not even like unreasonable. That's pretty decent ability you got there. Okay. Acceleratium. Countdown 3. Whenever an ally follower comes into play, give it Rush. Whenever you play an artifact card, recover 1 play point. Yowzers. And it only costs 1? seriously? Dude. Oh my god. They're really just going above and beyond. Oh, here's like the tokens. Spinaria's artifact. It's a 1-drop 1/1. That doesn't have rush or anything stupid. Last word, if it's your turn, then put a random artifact card from your deck into your hand. If it's your opponent's turn, draw a card. Does anyone else find it ironic that the legendary artifact is the most balanced one / weakest one? Like everyone else is kind of broken. Oh, ancient artifact is a 3/1 rush. Oh, excuse me. This is the one that lets you draw a card, correct? Yes, and this is the 3/1 rush. This is the 3/1 rush. Okay. Just making sure I have my tokens sorted. Last but not least, neutral Bad Katha. 3-drop 2/2. Fanfare. Give +1/+0 to random allied follower. Enhance 6. Give +1/+1 to all other allied followers. Enhance 9. Put a Morigna's Gospel into your hand. Now I've heard that if you play it for 9, you get all of these. You get all of these abilities, which is pretty broken in my opinion. Especially when you read what this thing does, it's pretty good. But a lot of how good this card is depends on how much what your board is like, in my opinion. Like your board has to be like super hench, or else you can't really get much use of her. And besides paying her for 9, a 9-drop 2/2 is like, that's a 9-drop 2/2. That's abysmally low. Once again, this is one of those cards you have to see how it performs. Fall from Grace. 4-drop. Transform a follower or amulet into a fallen angel. I really like this card, and you'll see why. Goblin Emperor. Oh gosh, I'm so tired. I'm sorry, guys. It's a 2/2. Fanfare. Randomly put one of the following cards into your hand: Goblin, Goblin Leader, or Goblin Princess. Whenever an allied follower that originally costs 1 play point or less comes into play, give it rush. This card's not that good only because, and I understand what it's trying to do, but it's too much range. Like all these cards are very different and do very different things. This is just a 1/1. A 1/2. This spawns 1/2 at the end of the turn, and this, when you play it, gives you 2 1/2s, and then when it dies, it gives you the Goblin King. I understand what it was kind of go with, especially because like, whenever all these cards give you goblins. First of all, Goblin Leader doesn't even work with this, because Goblin Leader, you get the goblin at the end of the turn, so it actually doesn't work. So therefore, they kind of flopped on this, in my opinion, and I would not play that card. This is gonna be busted. Holy Angel Altaia. How is this a silver? Fanfare. Change the enemy follower into a neutral follower. Clash. Deal 4 damage to the enemy follower if it's a neutral follower. So what? We're just doing 10 damage to people now? Is that what we're doing? Like, hello? I don't know. Broken as shit. Government or gets a 1/4. It gets enhanced. I know it gets enhanced something. Did I click on it? Card? Hello? I guess I didn't. It's a 1/4 ward. If you play for 5, it gains +2/+2, so it'll be a 3/6. And when you evolve it, it'll become a 5/8. Which is pretty good stats for. That's pretty good for a goblin. Playing defensively. Will ever see the light of day? Probably not. Dungeon Explorer Chloe is very similar to Dead Moon Disciple. It gives another ally follower the ability to ignore ward, except it's just neutral. Plain and simple. Burly Axe Wielder. 3/2/3. Fanfare. Enhance 7, gain +2/+1, destroy an enemy amulet. No one's ever using this card to, yeah, it's just really bad. Pitfall. Destroy an enemy follower that attacked last turn. Once again, I don't think anyone's gonna use this card either. Only because they have, like, you have to be attacked. Like, I get it. And it's not a bad card, especially when everyone starts evolving and crashing and trading, but it's like, eh. Yeah, so let's move on to these two cards. These quote-unquote tokens. So, Marigna's Gospel. It's 3-drop spell. Give random allied follower +3/+3. It's random, so that kind of sucks. Draw 3 cards, gain 3 life. And it costs 3. So you do a lot for 3, but see, the thing that sucks about getting this spell is that the follower that you need to play it, it costs 9, so you literally have to wait a whole turn to play this spell. So understandably, it's not without its faults. And you really need to have a board for it. Oh, you don't have to, because it only costs 3. But yeah, it's a good spell. It is a very good spell.